So we're down to the final two practices of this spring, including Saturday's A-Day game or event. And we'll be there for that. And then we'll be at InnisFree afterwards. So if you're in town, come by and say Roll Tide to us. We're going to talk about the third scrimmage closed to media and fans, what we have found out about that. We'll hear from Germie Bernard. He talked after the game with a bunch of other players. And we'll talk about what yesterday's scrimmage means to this Alabama football team and what the themes coming out of camp seem to be for the Crimson Tide. Great to talk to you guys today. Show's brought to you by our friends over at Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Let's go. So everybody, Mick Gillespie, welcome to the Bama Tailgate Show. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, just like it says at the bottom of the screen. And let's talk some Alabama football today. One day away from being in Tuscaloosa at Bryant-Denny Stadium for football, even though it's not a game and it's, I don't know, it's kind of a practice. We're going to be there and we're going to be excited. And I actually want to hear what Germie Bernard said about about what to expect on Saturday. But let's talk about this. Scrimmage number 3 was closed to the media, was closed to fans, but from all intents and purposes, the team got after it. They held their final scrimmage on the morning or in the morning at Thomas Drew practice fields, and it was the second time that Alabama scrimmaged at the practice fields and didn't do it at Bryant-Denny Stadium like they have in years past, right? Saturdays obviously will be at Bryant-Denny, the 8A. No one's even. Are we still calling it the 8A game because it's not a game? But anyway, look, the practice was closed. The players seem to really think that they enjoyed what happened in the game. Bray Hubbard talked about it. He said basically how good it was, and that they're going to keep building, and they're going to try to finish out spring ball the right way and do it on a, kind of a solid note. And I mean, why wouldn't you, right? When you talk about what to expect on Saturday, obviously it always goes back to the quarterback position. Everybody asks about the quarterback position. No one's kind of like basically throwing anything about the quarterback position out there because they don't want anybody to know who the quarterback's going to be. It's going to be Ty Simpson. Yeah, don't say I said it, but it's going to be Ty Simpson. And I guess yesterday, Latsier Brooks posted on Twitter some of his highlights of burning his teammates. That got taken down. I think we should just play it. Obviously, Alabama media relations doesn't want it out there, so whatever. You guys probably have seen it, but I think it's funny. Like, who cares? These guys go out, they practice. It's not the end of the world if you got burnt in a video. The other guy could go make a video. I think what they don't want, though, are these videos being released to their competition and losing some of these guys to the transfer portal, which is really, kind of the fear now around college football, that you're going to lose guys to the transfer portal. And I think that's why we won't have an 8A game. We'll have an 8A scrimmage. So this is number 13 of 15, right? That included 3 scrimmages. We're like full pads, get after it type scrimmage. And that's as close to game prep that they're going to have until we get into fall. And then, obviously the season is going to be really tough for Alabama and they better be ready to go, right? You got Ryan Grubb there for the first year. You feel like there's just a little bit more confidence with the offense, not to say anything bad about Nick Sheridan, love Nick Sheridan, but just the fact that, basically, that you just got a guy that just was in the NFL and won 10 games there. He was 10-7. Like in the year before that, his team was in the national championship. So he brings a lot to the table. Glad that Alabama has both Sheridan and Grubb. And so, I think that that's something worth looking at. And, Bernard, part of that wide receiver room that is, basically one of the strongest groups that Alabama has. All right, let me put him on the screen, and I'm going to play him talk. This is him talking about the 8A game, the scrimmages, and I'm going to let the conference roll a little bit, and then we'll kind of look at it together and evaluate. And obviously, thanks Alabama Media Relations for this.
Not necessarily. I mean, we just come out and we compete. I mean, everything really is fun to watch because we're always competing.
What about young guys that are new to the roster this season that you think fans should keep an eye on Saturday?
It's really too many to name. I can't lie. We got some ballers, man. We really do. So I'll tell them this: look at the freshman roster that came in, and pay attention to all of them.
All right, so there he goes. Talking about the basically what he saw with the young players that to watch, all of them, and then gave you like the freshmen on this team are going to be on display. And then I'm curious just to see what Kalen DeBoer's first true recruiting class ends up being able to accomplish. We used to do that with Nick Saban. You're like, every recruiting class up until the end won a championship, and which is really a phenomenal feat, right? Some of them won 3, and we're in a bunch of them, right? What's DeBoer's recruiting class going to look like? What are those guys going to contribute? You talk about Dijon Lee. He was asked about Latsier Brooks, and said, hey, not only is he going to be good, keep an eye out for, and then name some other guys, that we're excited about seeing. But there's a lot of these, kind of like drills that these guys are going to do, offense against defense. I think it's going to be fun just to kind of see how they put this together in a way where they're not giving a whole lot out to their competition. They're not losing guys in the portal, they don't think. But at the same time, we're like actually having something entertaining to sit in there and watch. Because if they don't pull that off, I think everybody's going to be like, what am I here for? Right. But the players are excited about the opportunity to get in front of fans. And another guy that talked was Tim Keenan, defensive lineman. And he was talking about all the work that they did and how much hitting they were doing. And he was basically saying that, that when some of the stuff they'll be doing is a lot of physical stuff, that's what they do with the defensive line. And when you look at, the guys that he's got around him and all of those guys looking to Tim Keenan and LT Overton for leadership, you got some guys that are going to be fun to watch. Jeremiah Beeman and Edric Hill and Jordan Renaud. And look, we've all been excited about Keon Keeley. So that's another thing that I think when we get into action on Saturday that I'm pretty pumped up about, just to kind of see how all of that turns out. So, just what is it going to be? Is it going to be entertaining? And then how is Alabama going to grow from the opportunity that they have to just get out there and practice it? Or is it just going to be a giveaway, kind of on Saturday where, hey, just come out, like a fan day type thing? Because I don't know. I don't think any of us know. But again, as I mentioned before, we will be Clint Lamb and I and maybe Shank, who said he might come by. We're going to be at InnisFree. We're going to do a show before we wrap it up in Tuscaloosa, and we would love for you guys to come by and hang out with us. We'll try to put the show on in the front area there and talk some Alabama football with you. So, all right, a couple things I want to tell you about until Monday. Bama Tailgate, 25% off. You pimp out your man cave. Do it in style. Bama Tailgate, newlifeart.com. Those awesome Daniel Moore prints. We're giving away some calendars on here for you guys. You can go buy them, but we're giving some away as well. And we'll even have some with us in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. Also, some Bama Tailgate swag as well. We'll be giving that away, including some hats. But newlifeart.com, 25% off. Bama Tailgate, and when you say, hey, where'd you find out? And then Bama Tailgate when you check out, and you get the 25% off. But that expires on Monday. So that is our A-Day special, 25. And then finally, Pearl River Resort, our friends over in Philadelphia, hung out with them at InnisFree on Tuesday. We're going to do it again really soon. Love the gang at Pearl River and love going over there. And I'm watching the Masters, and I'm like, okay, as bad of a golfer as I am, I look like I can golf, but I can't. I'll tell you this, I have fun out there. And when you go to Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, they call it the Augusta you can play for a reason. The Azaleas and the Oaks, it is a multi-million-dollar golf course. It is well kept and it is good. And you don't have to have a membership to play it. It's an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 hours and change from Birmingham. But you go and check it out and tell me what you think. I think it's beautiful. And when you get out there, it's like you just get out there. You're like, man, this is crazy. And then Silver Star, Golden Moon Casino, you got the sports book, the just amazing slots, some great concerts always up there, including Vanilla Ice, CNC Music Factory, and Young MC. All that at Pearl River Resort. But we appreciate them so much for being a part of what we do, and check them out. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, get in the comments section. Have a great day, and roll Tide.
To Pearl River Resort.